matchup. It is between Blaze from Unrivaled, who we saw previously, and Woogie from All In, who we saw in the first match. It's a TVT on Expedition Lost, and then we have, I believe, Overgrowth, and then Varney Research Station for the third map.
Yeah, maybe one time we will get to Varney as our third map.
Yeah, it's been 2-0s all night so far. Maybe it will continue. I mean, both players won. It wasn't, I don't think, easy. I don't think the map score reflects the series, so I imagine this will be pretty close as well.
Yeah, I think so. Blaze's TVT is like statistically his worst matchup, but he's still very strong in it. He beats me 90% of the time at the moment. It's ridiculous. Even though TVT is like out and out my best matchup, I just can't beat him for some reason. So I don't know. It should be good. I'm not sure about Woogie's TVT. The only experience apparently the both of us have is you cheesing him out. So.
Well, I mean, I was going to macro game too, but he said no. So
okay. Yeah. Every time I play Blaze, he seems to just hard counter no matter what I'm doing. Like every time. So like if I decide to like proxy Marauder, he'll go straight there and scout it. Or if I proxy Thor, he'll go straight there and scout it. Or if I try and play standard, he'll just scout it and go all in on me. It's like, it's the most frustrating thing. He has good map vision and good game sense. That's one thing Blaze is very strong at. So at least in TVT. So, should be interesting. Countdown underway. Map is loading up. Should be good. Should be good.
So we're basically expecting a lot of gas first, a lot of early aggression, not a lot of fast expands, because, I mean, TVT has evolved into the same sort of super cutthroat, if you expand, you die kind of matchup that PvP and ZVZ are sometimes described as well, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. You can, like, expand in TVT, but you're in for an uphill battle.
It's
like, your defense has to be spot on.
It's like you send out your pseudo all in, and then you expand.
Yeah, pretty much. They have spawning in the bottom left of Expedition Lost from All Inspiration. It is the Blue Terran Woogie.
And to the top right of Expedition Lost, spawning in as the other Blue Terran, it is Team Unrivaled Blaze. Why did they have to pick these colors? I guess it's your team color, kind of, but...
yeah, I know. Ours is either like the blue or the green. I think, like the royal blue or the green, not the light blue. Oh
well, gonna make our lives hell. So Blaze is building his first depot next to the rocks. So Reapers can't jump up in this area, so I guess you just want vision of maybe any kind of delayed one-base all-ins, maybe trying to siege up down there and bust through the rocks and come up. I've never actually played TVT on this map. I've since switched to Zerg, so I have no idea what TVT is going to be like on these new maps.
Yeah, Blaze played a TVT on this map in the CTL week 1, I think, and he did like a tank push into like an expand kind of thing, and like he sieged up like where these bushes are outside the natural. Like he sieged a tank there, and it can hit the natural ramp as well as like the main to natural ramp, and just use Vikings and kind of just zoned out and tank pushed his way up. Really strong build on this map. Yeah. He really abused the terrain around like these rocks and then the natural ramps and stuff like that.
I wonder if we'll see if he's doing that. Yeah, I mean, him building the depot there maybe indicates that he knows that. Well, he obviously knows that stuff is possible because he's executing it. But maybe him having that on his mind is indicating he's going to do that.
Yeah, I expect Blaze to go straight up to a Raven. That's kind of his bread and butter TVT build. Is he goes into Raven and it just does that like Raven tank push, and he either does it with like a Medivacs or he does it with Vikings and pushes the front door. It's kind of his fallback TVT build usually.
That's what I remember him being like as well. So we got both players going for the gas first. We actually have Blaze, for some reason, is too busy focused on this SCV to be building his own orbital and factory, and actually his orbital is 15 seconds behind. So that's pretty significant
as well.
Wow.
It's a little bit sloppy.
Yeah, sloppy, I think, is the right term there.
Especially with like TVT, like the timing of these buildings is just so critical. Like it can be the difference between having a tank sieged up ready to defend and not. I think it's heresy. Second gas coming down now for Blaze, just that little bit delayed as well. Everything's just that little bit behind so far.
And if he wants to be attacking, that's actually going to put a wrench in his plan there.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Hellion, the choice from Woogie, as we have our first deviation. Should be seeing a starport come down any second now.
Yeah, I know that Hellion first is what Taja can somehow squeeze out with a Banshee opener. I don't know how he finds the money for a Hellion. So, I mean, if a Tech Lab's coming down here, which it will be, I mean, I guess Woogie also somehow finds that money to get the Hellion out. And this Hellion is basically doing what the SCV from Blaze did earlier, but it's less money lost, I suppose.
Yeah. It's that speed, able to kind of poke the ramp, see what the units are. And if you
Yeah.
have a really good understanding of TVT, you can know how many Marines are. You can kind of get a feel of what this build is going to be. He might even try and sack this Hellion. He is going to sack
He does. Wow, that's
it. It's a
interesting.
full
So he
scouter.
sees, yeah, he sees the full scout. Actually, Blaze is gonna. Is that mislanded? No.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it
it
is.
is.
It is mislanded. Yeah.
Oh
I just
no.
realised. It's unfortunate. It just delays everything that little bit longer. Every little
Yeah,
push.
you really have to default to the Raven at this stage. Even if that wasn't his plan at the start, you really have to just go straight into Raven
Yeah.
because you're just so far behind on a Banshee. The Banshee should be finishing at like 6:05, 6:10, and it's the Raven's not even halfway down at this stage, and I believe they have the same build time as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty identical builds, but Woogie has somehow squeezed out that Hellion. It's really the main difference.
Well, that SCV scout earlier is the money that the Hellion costs.
Yeah. Switching over to this reactor onto the barracks. I expect Blaze will be doing the same thing very
Yeah.
shortly. We'll switch out his starport for a tech lab as well, I reckon. He even scouts and sees that switch off, that scan, sees the command, sees everything he wants to know, sees the Raven.
Yeah.
Pretty safe that there's no Banshee coming. Starts his own Viking in his own tank. Very mirrored build.
Okay.
Starts the CC on the low ground as well.
Blaze is really having trouble, I think, mentally maybe this game. I mean, his opening was a little bit screwed up. And then he mislanded on the tech lab, then he mislanded on the reactor. He's building the CC in the main, whereas Woogie, who is basically doing the same build, he's a little bit ahead in supply. He is supply block now though, but he has the CC on the low ground, and he just seems a little bit ahead.
Yeah, every little thing's a little bit ahead. Sending Marines out now, getting some map vision, trying to scout off. Blaze is taking the watchtowers as well. Both players just active, try and find the intentions of each other. See if anyone's going for any kind of drop. As Blaze doesn't really have any vision of Woogie's base at all. Seeing the factory, and that's about it. Doesn't really scout out anything else.
Yeah, so we're going to have to wait and see which player wants to move out first. I imagine it's going to be whenever like a certain amount of tanks is reached, or maybe a certain amount of medevacs. We do see that Blaze does not have any medevacs, but Woogie is the first one to finish a medevac, so that allows him to at least move out and maybe put a bit of pressure on. And both players are going to move out, and both players are going to see the other player moving out.
Well, this Viking might get caught. The air control is the real killer. Like that's whoever controls the air who really controls the aggression here.
Yeah, I mean,
It's the
Blaze
most
does have a
important
second
thing.
Viking, so he will
He's
have air control.
Setting up a little trap. Might have been spotted by Woogie. He's turning around. Maybe he's a little bit of game sense, or he sees nothing at the natural as well. He assumes there is a trap
CC.
lying in wait for him. Does turn around, realizing that he's the one probably ahead, so probably can afford to be on the defensive.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for him to move out at this stage. He has the expansion landed and saturated. He maybe saw Blaze's CC flying there if he was looking. The scan gave him vision of that towards the end there. So he knows he can just sit and chill for a bit and be a bit more passive. And Blaze is going to be moving out. It looks like he's heading straight for that spot you were describing earlier. But Woogie is at... Oh my goodness, this is going to get real weird real fast.
There's auto turrets coming down for both players. A lot more Marines here for Woogie. He's going to clean this up. Blaze
Wow.
loses everything. Raven, all the tanks. Really good trade for him here. Takes a massive supply lead as well. And back home, Blaze
Yeah.
has a tank and 2 Marines.
I mean, this is what happens in mirror matchups where both players do the identical build, but one of them does it a little bit better. I think it sounds like it's not that much of a difference, but it's such a difference overall.
Yeah. So all of this just kind of led from just those little mistakes that Blaze made at the start. They've all kind of
Yeah.
just added up. I mean, he's going to sack this natural. 0 chance he can hold this.
I mean,
There's
he
another
can
tank
maybe
now.
fly the CC into the main, but Woogie can just sit and siege up here and be obnoxious, and he doesn't have to reinforce this at all. He can just sit and make the identical army at home. He's actually being a little bit too over-aggressive with these tanks, and he
Yeah.
lost his air vision, so
All he
he
needs to
won't
do is
actually
have
be able
this.
to do much.
Yeah, just needs to have these tanks siege in range of this ramp. If he has it in range of this ramp, he's kind of fine. It's
Oh,
forced
he's just
Blaze
going
not
home.
to be able. Yeah, I think he could have hung around a little bit longer there. He's
Yeah, I thought
gonna.
he could as well.
Yeah, if he just has the tank siege, so it's just impossible for Blaze to move down without taking damage. That'd be a good choice. He's in a pretty good spot though. Another scan comes down, sees the army. He's gonna back off a little bit. I don't think he'll move up here, but he can just stay at the front door here for quite a long time.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for Wiggy to move up here. I mean, he can siege up in that spot you were describing earlier by the shrubs, but I wonder if Wiggy knows of that spot. Not
He's
yet.
turning around. Maybe he might even go for the back rocks, perhaps. He doesn't need to force the issue, though, I think, is the main part. So this soft contain up is really all he needs. Even Blaze checking for these rocks now, trying to get an army. A scout off on the army. Wiggy's macroing up, getting 2-2. Oh, getting 1-1, sorry. Both upgrades. In combat shield. No stim yet, either. Starter for both players.
Yeah, Stim now coming down for Woogie. Woogie is missing out on the third command center. I mean, he's getting the armory to get that 2-2 going maybe, but he really needs to get that third CC going before you get the money for all these things. Still has the supply lead though in both workers and army, but Blaze I think has the superior position and oh no, Woogie, your tanks, no!
And Blaze taking probably the best fight he probably could here. Might not be enough though. Landing
No,
the
I think
Vikings.
it's-
Actually, hey,
yeah.
he's going to clean this up.
That was a massive miscontrol there by Woogie.
Yeah. Really good fight there for Blaze. If he can keep taking fights like that, he can slowly claw his way back in. I like that he's repairing these tanks as well. These tanks are his
Yeah.
lifeline at the moment.
He did sacrifice his air control for that fight though, so we are going to have to see whether anyone wants to continue making Vikings or not. Looks like Woogie's just gone straight into medevacs, and he's not bothering with any more Vikings. We're not seeing anything of the sort come out from Blaze. His reactor starport is idle at the moment, but he doesn't really have the gas to... He's double producing tanks and getting stim, so
Yeah.
he is now going into the medevacs as well. So it looks like the Viking war has ended at the moment. And Blaze actually wants to move out here. He's equalized the supply gap.
Yeah. Throwing down his third as well. His scan does see the army moving out. He might even be able to force a cancel here. If Blaze goes straight to this third base, he might bypass it though. Not aware of its existence yet.
Yeah, I think he's not assuming it's there. I think he's just going, oh no, Woogie, your tank is...
Oh.
Oh dear, that's unfortunate. I think Blaze can
Woog-
actually just go right up the ramp and siege here.
Yeah, he's gonna be able to probably get some SCV kills, possibly even force the lift off. A lot of tanks here.
Yeah, he's going to force the lift off. Woogie's just resigning this natural. He's got his 2-2 researching for his bio down here as well. I wonder if Blaze is going to be able to deny that or not. If this 2-2 somehow finishes, I mean, Woogie's Marines are going to be so superior to Blaze's.
Tank sieging up in a little bit of air position. Getting a few shots off on it first. Blaze is even going to drop in this tank, realizing there's not much army. Meanwhile, back in the main of Blaze, there is a medevac drop. A few Marines getting some kills.
Actually, they're going to be getting a lot of kills here. I mean, there's no SCVs in the main, and that drop on the tank from Blaze was actually a little bit of an overextension here. I mean, Woogie somehow mustered the army to clean up the natural, and the drop in the main is still going on. So I thought that was going to go really badly for Woogie, but
Killed a
apparently
factory as
not.
well. Blaze,
Both
does he have
factories.
no army at all?
He has 8
Units.
supply in army.
3 Marines and a Marauder. Not enough to kill this. Has a few more Marines popping out. Needs to pull SCVs, but...
Oh no, this is really unfortunate for Blaze. They're going to be filtered through as well, and he's
Yeah.
actually going to focus the starport down, which is huge. He has to rebuild the factories before he can rebuild the starport. And Woogie
Oh.
gets out with all 8 Marines.
Possibly. Might there
Wow.
lose a minute. There he goes. There he goes. Woogie in a pretty strong position. Double the supply even now.
Yeah. That looked pretty dire there for Woogie when Blaze was sieging up the natural, but he did just manage to pull the SCVs away, and he managed to also get his 2-2 to finish on those engineering bays. So at this stage, Woogie just needs to sort of restabilize himself, make sure that everything that was destroyed goes back to wherever it was before, and get going again, and then he can move out. And it looks like he wants to right now.
Yeah. Should be able to kill Blaze here, I think. No tanks at all. It's just
Yeah.
kind of waiting for the inevitable.
62 army supply versus 10. It's the numbers say it all really at this stage. I mean, maybe if Blaze had a few tanks, the position advantage is really significant in TVT, I think, the most out of any matchup. A few tanks can hold a lot of tanks. Actually, like we saw earlier in this game, there was just a few tanks from Blaze, and then Woogie had a much larger army, but it just sort of ran into that position and everything kind of died. So maybe once Blaze gets a couple of these tanks out, he can have the same scenario again, but he needs to have that happen a couple of times, I think. And is Woogie even going to wait for the tanks to finish?
Yeah. Blaze doesn't even have stim yet, either. Like, no upgrades at all. I mean, you might kill this third, but I think it's inconsequential at all. I don't think it really matters. I mean, there's two tanks, but a couple of those get picked off before they even been able to siege up this drop. Woogie moving in now. Quite a bit of army here from Blaze, and a nicely positioned tank, but I don't think it's enough, unfortunately.
Yeah.
For the unrivaled Terran.
Yeah, Woogie has like the same army just marching across the map again. He has the 4th command center. He has +3 attack starting. It looks like Woogie just was in the better mindset for the majority of that game. I mean, even from the beginning of that game, where just like everything that Blaze was doing was just a little bit worse than Woogie.
Yeah, perhaps nerves out of Blaze. There's a few like real sloppy errors, I think, out of Blaze. Something not expected from him. We'll see.
Maybe Blaze gets nervous. I'm not sure.
Bit of adrenaline getting into him, realizing he might be able to get out first of this group into the round of 16. We'll see if he can change his fortunes in map number 2 on Overgrowth. Overgrowth, yeah. Get this lobby set up underway. We'll see if either player changes up their builds, whether they both go for that quick Raven or if they trying to do something a little bit more aggressive in this game.
Overgrowth doesn't really present itself for anything massively interesting. I guess mostly because it's a very familiar map to both players. If anyone wanted to cheese, it would be on a map that everyone knows where the good spots are. But then also, I guess that's a reason not to cheese, because everyone knows where all the good spots are. So, I mean, we do see like the barracks behind the natural mineral line is pretty common here. I know that Flash tried to put the barracks inside Tage's main once for proxy marauders. It's certainly possible. If we see cheese, it's probably going to come out here. I mean, and I know Blaze, when he's down 0-1 in a best of 3, he pulled out cheese against me. So maybe he'll do it versus Woogie.
Did he go Reapers against you? Was it?
Yeah, it was 888 Reaper with the 2nd Rax.
Yeah, I remember practicing that with him. That's why.
Well, I'll have to wait and see.
We'll see. He doesn't love that build though. He kind of like, he understands that it can be a very good build, but he doesn't love doing it.
Yeah, it
feels like his strengths lie in that mid-game kind of control usually.
But if that's the case, then maybe he's a bit rattled after the previous game, seeing that how Woogie just seemed to be a little bit better in every way. And speaking of which, apparently he's spawning for Guns and Roaches this game. But he is actually for all inspiration, and he is the Dark Blue Terran to the bottom left of Overgrowth. Oh wow. Shout out to Guns and Roaches.
Yep. Guns and Roaches now recruiting. Hilarious. Spawning in the top right-hand side of Overgrowth from the correct team, Unrivaled. It is Blaze in green this time. Sorted these colours out. Changing colours. TB Ham would be having a fit.
Well, he's not here, so that's fine. We can color changes.
We're in charge today.
All right, so Blaze is not opting for any kind of really fast Reapers like we were discussing, so he evidently thinks that maybe his macro play is going to be superior than Woogie, and he can just like tighten up those issues that we had in Game 1, maybe not bother with that SCV scout, but actually he is going to be going for the 12. He's scouting his main.
It's brilliant. The player's
Sorry.
going for the that's right. The 12 racks and 12 Reaper, the standard Reaper build. As we got a little bit of a delayed gas burst. It wasn't on 11 like you'd usually expect. It was on 12 after his depot completed with the same SCV. Nothing really too major. Just squeezing out that extra worker.
Yeah, making sure that that second worker isn't idle. He's keeping them all
Yeah.
mining as much as he can, so being greedy there. And Blaze is playing super safe this game. He scouted his main for the me barracks. Oh, that's why. Okay, we will be having some Reapers this game.
Yeah. We'll see if he throws down that second reactor and goes like second refinery. Goes double reacted Reapers. Can be very strong as well.
But on
Yeah.
this map, I mean, the Reapers only have one angle of attack, right?
And he has gone gas first as well, so he will have access to that factory and those Hellions. And as soon as you get Hellions, it kind of just stops most Reaper cheese in its tracks. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
and that's actually what I tried against Woogie. Is I tried this two racks Reaper. I did it on 8 barracks, but even so, Woogie showed competence defending it from me. So I imagine I would say Blaze is the better Terran than me by far. So I would think that he would probably execute this build better than me. So hopefully, for Blaze's sake. But it looks like he's going into the second gas. Huh,
Yeah,
that's going to be a lot of Reapers.
The second gas usually means you want to get reactors, because that's kind of what you can afford 2 Reapers at a time off 1 gas. But if you get the second gas, you usually want to throw down reactors, and then you can go 3 or 4 Reapers at a time. That or Blaze just might want to get that factory up that little bit quicker, and maybe not commit so heavily to the Reapers.
I think actually he has to build reactors at this stage because he has no depot and he's at 19 of 19. So he has to build reactors right now. He has no choice unless he's going double tech lab, marauder, concussive, like blow our minds. But this is a huge supply block for Blaze. He's just throwing down the CC actually.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think he wanted to do that.
No, I don't think so either. I think he's still not spending this gas at all. Like he's going to throw down a factory now by the looks. And he's got 3 Reapers, but these 4 Marines and a Hellion can push these away quite easily. I don't even think he gets a scout off at all. See, he's nothing.
And he's going to be so woefully underprepared for this Banshee as well.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
He's going. Yeah, I think Woogie might get a Banshee, get some tanks, and really push across the map. Really trying to abuse Blaze's lack of factory and starport tech. He's getting a barracks with a tech lab on it. He's going to try and get the scout off now with these Reapers. They do get in. They might get a kill, or 2, but it's not really going to bring him back into this game. It's still going to be
and that's 150 gas going down as well. That's like a Banshee and a half, if I can put it that way.
I don't even think he still didn't scout off the tech of Woogie either.
Oh no, he didn't. He saw an add-on. He saw a reactor.
Yeah, it doesn't really tell him what he needs to know.
I think that seeing the Marines in the Hellion, you can assume.
Well, it still could be Raven. It still could be Raven and tanks, though.
Yeah, Blaze is in an icky position. He's actually Woogie's supply is 50% better than Blaze's right now. Blaze has a Marine to his name, and it's actually inside the barracks.
Yeah, he's getting stim, which is, I guess, a nice thing, but probably not going to help him. Combat shield might have been a better choice, perhaps, but no matter what, he's no eBay. Cloak almost finished. Banshee's right up. This Hellion's even tickling at some SCVs. He's even going Raven first by the looks of that switch over to the
He has to go Raven now. I mean, seeing this Banshee, there's nothing that can shoot this Banshee, and that's the game.
GG, just like that. Unfortunate for Blaze. I'm not sure. I don't think that was his plan to go three Reapers into expand with delayed.
Did you recognize this player?
No,
I don't think this is the Blaze you know.
Frazzled, I think is the word. Frazzled, probably.